Hello, all, and welcome to this afternoon's non-alcoholic beer review. It's almost the end of January, so it's going to be back to reviewing real beers, and hopefully, I will have uploaded the past 2 months of reviews. I'm a remarkably lazy person when it comes to uploading, mostly just due to how YouTube, if these things were just like faster on the upload instead of taking 5 to 15 to 20 minutes sometimes even to upload, it would be just so much more convenient to upload these things rather than because I can't really use my internet for anything else while I'm uploading. So, you know, the more of a backlog I get, the more of a pain in the butt it is actually to upload these. But anyways, what are we reviewing? It's still dry January. Another non-alcoholic beer we'll be reviewing. And this is Erdinger Weissbrau from Bavaria. So it's a German beer. If you go online and look up non-alcoholic beers, everyone seems to agree that other than some very recent craft beers, the Germans seem to do the non-alcoholics best. So, contains less than 0.5 alcohol by volume. Erdinger non-alcoholic is crafted all naturally using a traditional production method. Thank you for enjoying Germany's #1 malt beverage. It has a use by date of August 2021, so still fairly fresh. As you would expect, so Whole Foods is a place that really sells a lot of non-alcoholic beers, and they were starting to run low. The massive palette they had of the Lagunitas IPNA is almost all gone. This was still remaining. There's like 2 sixers of this remaining. And it was one of the ones that I recognized that many of the websites say is one of the best, so I decided to go for it. And I'm glad I did. So let's, it's already 2.5 minutes in. Let's just get started. So this is a non-alcoholic wheat beer. And we're going to be using our Hefeweizen glass, and you'll probably see why in just a little bit. In that this makes a tremendous head, which is actually quite rare for most non-alcoholic beers I've read. Very nicely carbonated, a wonderful clear golden yellow, with a thick, fluffy white head that is redolent of sweet malts. I usually say bready or biscuity. This is almost cereal-like. It really smells like somebody um, went and poured like a bowl of Special K or something in front of you. It really has like that cereal note, the wheat cereal note. Really, really reminiscent of Special K to me, anyway. Very slight hints of noble hops, so floral and spices, but really, really dominated by the malt. Despite being a wheat beer, it doesn't really have like any Hefeweizen notes or Weizen notes. And I would pretty much venture that's because, it, I'm not sure if this is fermented and then the alcohol removed, or if they're just making a general malt beverage, boiled wheat, and that's been, boiled wheat malt that's been clarified and forced carbonated. But I would guess that fermentation is what creates a lot of the phenolic notes that are really missing in this. There's still touches of it, though, but it's very much dominated by cereal malts. Dry on the front, with just a slight brief old world hops bitterness as well that goes into the mids. And then from the mids into the finish, very much a malt show, leaving a lasting maltiness on the palate. Long malty finish. How often do you get to say that? It's a bit thin compared to every other wheat beer that I've drunk. But at the same time, this is also thicker than, thicker in regards to mouthfeel than any other non-alcoholic beer that I've had. If nobody told you, you could probably be fooled into thinking that this was a lightly alcoholic beer. You'd wonder, well, why has a German maker made such a very, simple beer? In that, you know, you would expect a bit more hop bite, you expect more complexity with the malts as well as yeast, fermentation notes there. But all in all, I mean, compared to like some non-alcoholic beers, which I haven't reviewed because I know most of them are awful. I only started reviewing these non-alcoholic beers because I really wanted beer, and it was still January. I'm going to say something here. I would drink this even if it wasn't non-dry January. This would be my choice of a beer I would drink if I wanted to drink beer, but for whatever reason I couldn't be alcoholic, so I was a designated driver or something. Granted, it's not perfect by any means. If there would be something, I would love to have the hops kicked up a notch, just to kind of balance off that sweetness, because as it warms up, it begins to get a bit cloying in the finish, but not overly so. I've had many alcoholic beers that are much more cloying than this in their finish. All in all, I'm pretty well chuffed. I'd love to go and try some of you know, the non-alcoholic craft beers. I've heard great things about them, but most of them aren't being distributed in Hawaii. Most of them are elsewhere. Like Brewdog's got a few that have a good reputation, and I believe it's Athletic Brewing Company that basically does nothing but non-alcoholic beers. And all of those get very great, very good reviews for non-alcoholic beers, and unsurprisingly, considering they've made that their wheelhouse. And yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to possibly doing this as like a feature every January, just reviewing non-alcoholic beverages of some sort. Though I have a feeling that non-alcoholic whiskey is probably going to be offensive no matter how you try to package it. Anyways, Erdinger non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic wheat beer. Definitely the choice I would go with for non-alcoholic beer. Again, I don't have a whole bunch of experience with it, but those with a lot of experience with it basically say, have this one as part of their top 10 or top 5 or even top 5. So, yeah, give this one a shot if you want a beer but you can't have any alcohol. Well, again, there's a trace amount of alcohol in this, but you can't get drunk. You know what I mean? So, that's your non alcoholic beer review. Cheers.